Walk into any big box store in 2025, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and you know what you're going to see? Row after row of glowing screens, all on store mode, showing brightly colored demo videos of mountain landscapes and talking animals. It's a light show, a parade, a trap. Because when you're standing there, staring at 50 different TVs all tuned to the same perfect loop, they all look fantastic. Until you bring one home and realize none of what you saw was real. Not the brightness, not the sharpness, not even the sound sometimes. And here's the twist. Some of these budget brands are counting on that illusion. They know if they can just grab your attention next to the Samsungs and LGs, they might earn that impulse purchase. But don't be fooled. Looks good in store is not the same as works well in real life. Let's keep climbing this list. Number 10, Hisense, the risk. That starting to pay off look. 5 years ago, we wouldn't have believed it either. If you told someone in 2019 that Hisense would one day top a list ranking the most consistent best budget TVs on the market, they'd laugh you into a Roku logo. But here we are. And in 2025, Hisense is the surprise MVP. Now, before you slam the comment section yelling, "What about Sony? What about Samsung?" Relax. We're not saying Hisense is better than those brands overall, but if you're talking budget to mid-tier performance without spending your entire stimulus check, Hisense isn't just competing. They're changing the game. Go into any warehouse club right now. You'll see a 65-inch Hisense U6N mini LED selling for under $700, and here's what's wild. It doesn't suck. It doesn't crash. It doesn't flash logos at you every time it boots up. It just works. The U8 series in particular, that thing is punching in the same ring as Samsung QLEDs that cost twice as much. Smooth motion, excellent HDR brightness, Dolby Vision support, gamer-friendly input lag, and an overall build quality that finally doesn't feel like recycled lunch trays. And Google TV. Smooth, fast, no lag. No weird crashes during your movie climax. Listen to this. One longtime viewer wrote to us last week, said, "I replaced my dying LG C1 with a Hisense U8N because I couldn't afford the newer OLEDs. I was ready to feel the downgrade. I didn't. I felt the opposite. Best $800 I've ever spent? That's not a fluke. It's a trend. Yes, Hisense still has some cracks in the armor. Their cheaper models, the A6 and lower tier ULEDs, do cut corners. And customer service? Let's call it progressing. But the gap between their flagship mid-range TVs and the traditional giants is shrinking so fast, you can't ignore it. So yeah, while other brands sit on their legacy, Hisense is proving the old saying wrong. You can build trust cheap, if you build it right. But that begs the question, what do we do with the old kings? The Samsungs, the LGs, the Sonys, the brands people grew up trusting. Well, spoiler alert, just because they used to make the best TVs doesn't mean they still do in every category. In fact, in 2025, a lot of them feel like empires, quietly crumbling. Let's shift gears now from our ranked list of 10 brands to a deeper look at how even the most premium names are tripping over their own ambition. Because things aren't the same as they were in 2015. Buying a TV isn't just buying a screen anymore. You're buying an experience. The software that powers it, the speed it responds at, the updates it gets, the privacy settings you never changed but probably should have. We're living in a TV economy where good panels are everywhere, but good experience? That's rare, and ironically, it's some of the biggest names that are spoiling their own reputations with irritating choices. Let's talk about it. Number 9, Toshiba. The apprentice that just can't graduate. You'll see. Toshiba in all the usual places, Amazon, Target, even Costco sometimes. They come bundled with Fire TV built in, which is a solid plus. The platform is user-friendly, voice-controlled. It gives you quick access to streaming platforms straight out of the box. But here's what they don't tell you. Toshiba TVs haven't really been Toshiba since Hisense started manufacturing them. Fire TV makes them feel smarter than they are, because under the hood, it's still a mid-budget panel with limited color depth, no real HDR pop, an underwhelming motion control, sports and action scenes turn to jelly if you blink too fast, and the biggest issue? Longevity. One owner shared, "It was fine for the first 2 months. Then I started noticing a weird yellowish band across the bottom. Within 6 months, dead pixels. Amazon said it was a past return. Toshiba support ghosted me. So while their prices might lure you in, like $280 for a 50-inch with Fire TV, you have to ask yourself, is the picture worth the pain? Because right now, Toshiba's sets feel more like fancy tech sleeves wrapped around cheap silicone. They want to play in the big leagues. But you can't climb a mountain on half a parachute. Number 8, Philips. One name. 2 different worlds. The Philips brand might just be the biggest identity crisis in the TV world today. In Europe, Philips TVs are sleek pieces of tech art. Ambilight surrounds the screen with ambient LED glow. Their OLEDs look like they belong in a gallery. And picture quality can compete with the best. But in the US, yeah, not so much. Go to Walmart or browse US online listings. And the Philips TVs you'll find were made under license by another company entirely, Funai. And the difference in build shows. The panels are basic, edge-lit at best. The interface is laggy and ambilight, nowhere to be found in their American models. What you're getting is a name with none of the legacy. One of our subscribers nailed it. I thought I was buying a Ferrari. Got a tricycle with a sticker on it instead. There's nothing horribly wrong with US Philips TVs, but there's also nothing right. Colors are muted. Blacks or grays. The remote feels like it was designed by someone who's never used a remote before. And while Fire TV OS helps again, it's like putting racing tires on a lawnmower. You'll still get there slowly, you just might feel better while it happens. The truth? Philips has potential. Overseas, it's actually living up to the heritage. But walk into any American store in 2025 and all you're seeing is a brand playing its greatest hits with a karaoke machine. Number 7, Vizio. Once a leader, now. Lost in the update. This one hurts most because Vizio was the underdog we rooted for. Remember? Just a few years ago, you'd walk into Costco or Sam's Club, see a 65-inch Vizio with killer specs for $250 less than the competition, and it actually delivered. Bright panels, sharp visuals, minimal input lag, enough HDMI ports to make Sony blush. Gamers loved it. Binge watchers too, but then it all changed. SmartCast, their in-house operating system, was supposed to be their big power play, their moment. But in classic tragic hero fashion, it backfired. Owners started noticing sluggish menu performance, random crashes, and worse, ads popping up on their TV home screen. You bought it to watch Netflix, not to be sold insurance again. One user told us, "My Vizio was brilliant for 3 months, then the screen froze on the Hulu logo. I had to unplug it 6 times a day just to restart. It's a $600 screen with the soul of a toaster. Firmware updates often break more features than they fix. Sometimes apps simply disappear post-update. Remote commands lag by several seconds. And to add insult to injury, customer service has gone MIA, Vizio still builds decent panels. That part hasn't changed. But their software side is in crisis. And now, every Vizio TV is a gamble. Are you getting a smooth operator or a glitch machine that dies the moment your return window closes? They're not dead, not yet, but they're limping. And buyers in 2025 are not as patient as they used to be. Let's talk about someone who is actually getting it right, because not every brand on this list is falling. One of them is rising and fast. Number 6, TCL, the quiet killer. At this point, TCL is not even a dark horse anymore, it's a full-blown budget beast. Walk into any Best Buy right now and take a look. TCL sets are now being displayed side by side with LG and Samsung. You'll catch that 6 Series or QM8 looking brighter and crisper than sets $800 more expensive. No store mode tricks, just better tech for less. TCL is mastering the formula. Mini LED backlighting plus quantum dot displays plus native refresh rate plus solid software, Roku or Google TV. All wrapped in surprisingly sturdy builds. One longtime viewer told us, traded my LG OLED for a TCL QM7. I didn't expect much. Ended up keeping the TCL and selling the LG. That's wild. Are TCLs perfect? Not exactly. Some models may still suffer from blooming or limited viewing angles, and you do need to cross-reference model numbers carefully. Some older sets lag way behind the newer ones in performance. But here's the key. TCL is trying and improving year after year. While other brands cash in on reputations, TCL is earning one from scratch. It's refreshing and rare. So now the question becomes, who beat TCL? Who earned the number 1 spot? That moment's coming. But first, let's talk about why this list matters more than ever in 2025. Because we're not just talking about pixels and refresh rates anymore. We're talking about trust. The brands you see in store, online, and in endless ads, they want one thing, your confidence. Your choice, your money. And yet, over the past year, we've seen brand after brand forget that reliability isn't optional, that updates should improve, not destroy, that the TV you watch every night shouldn't feel like it's testing you, which brings us to the one brand that somehow still remembers these things. But let's pause. Number 5, O&N, the oops, I guess that counts as a TV brand. You know that feeling when you buy shoes online and they show up feeling like cardboard wrapped in duct tape? That's O&E, Walmart's house brand that somehow manages to undercut quality even when you're already scraping the bottom of the bargain bin. Technically, they're smart because they run Roku OS, but everything else, from the construction to the picture quality, feels dumbed down. The biggest issues? Laggy performance, over-sharpened picture, and zero durability. We're talking brittle plastic backings that creak when you adjust the angle. And sound that makes you question if the speakers are buried under drywall. One viewer told us, I bought an O&N 42-inch for the garage. Thought it'd be fine. 4 months later, the HDMI port fell inside the casing. Just disappeared. Now I can poke a flashlight in there and see its soul. The only time you should buy this is if you have zero expectations and just need some screen to play background noise for your dog. It's basically a digital picture frame with commitment issues. Number 4, Westinghouse. Once noble, now just nope. This one stings. The brand used to stand for something, innovation, integrity, solid American engineering. But in 2025, Westinghouse is just a name slapped on parts nobody else wanted. Some of their models run Android TV, some stick with Roku, others use whatever junk OS was left in the clearance software bin. That inconsistency is the first red flag. But the real problem? Massive quality control issues. 1 week, you get a Westinghouse that works. The next, your friend buys the same model and ends up with screen flicker, sound lag, or a smart interface powered by gnomes on break. One user said, and I quote, "It turned on once. That was the best it ever looked. The backlight uniformity is a mess, there's banding, motion looks like it was filmed underwater, and don't even get us started on the remotes. They're like holding a melted ice cream sandwich. Westinghouse isn't selling TVs anymore, they're selling lottery tickets disguised as rectangles." Number 3, Hitachi. Wait, they still make TVs? Believe it or not, they do. And it's kind of a problem. In 2025, Hitachi TVs are so rare and inconsistent. Buying one is like discovering an off-brand soda in the back of a gas station fridge. You're curious, but you probably shouldn't drink it. Most Hitachi sets available today are built by third-party OEMs with zero transparency. That means no clear support path, barely any firmware updates, and forget getting a replacement if it breaks. Because half the time you can't even track down which company is responsible for that specific model. A reviewer told us, "It looked good in the box. I hooked it up, watched one movie. By the next day, it was stuck in a boot loop. Customer service told me to wiggle the power cord with intent." Now, bro, what? To be fair, Hitachi does sometimes ship a decent panel, but it's the exception, not the rule. And that rule is simple. If you don't make TVs anymore, maybe stop pretending you do. Number 2, Scepter. Screens by Chaos Engineers. If ONN is the budget TV incident you can prepare for, Scepter is the one you never see coming. These TVs have no smart features. Let me repeat. No smart TV functionality by default. You gotta buy a separate streamer just to watch YouTube or Netflix. You're basically getting a monitor and TV clothing. But okay, maybe you like that. Maybe you want a dumb TV that just shows HDMI input with no fuss. Here's where it unravels. Inputs randomly stop working. Colors punch you in the eye like neon Skittles. And the built-in speakers? Imagine shaking a Pringles can with loose screws inside. Their 4K is more $4 quality than Ultra HD. And even though they cost less, the return rate is way higher than similar no-frills options like TCL or Toshiba. One subscriber said, "Bought a Scepter because I didn't need smart features, ended up needing therapy instead." And hey, shout out to the people who defend them fiercely in the comments. You're a special kind of brave. But for the rest of us, Scepter is for people who want cheap and are okay with chaos. Number 1, Element. Flashes of good in a sea of meh. Elements keep showing up on lists like these for one reason: they just can't seem to get consistent. Some of their newer lines are okay. Decent picture if you're watching in a pitch black room. Acceptable performance if you squint past the lag. Roku OS brings a bit of usability back, but unfortunately, that's where the positives stop. Build quality is average at best, downright fragile at worst. You may find uneven backlighting, corners, that trap heat, and a remote that feels like it was made out of budget calculator parts. Apps also load slowly and forget high-end features. There's no real HDR, no local dimming, no solid motion handling. It's just a screen that plays images. Eventually, one viewer warned us, "The Element TV lasted longer than my last relationship." That sounds nice until you realize my relationship also sucked. Element is that friend who shows up to your party with dollar store chips and eats all the good snacks you bought. We're halfway there, and things are finally about to pick up. Because while the bottom half of this list dragged us through the shadows of the budget world, the top 5 are where things get competitive. These next few brands actually try. Some almost get it right, and one of them might just blow your expectations away.